France's Stéphanie Frappart became the first ever female referee to take charge of a men's World Cup match. Of course, she's no stranger to the big stage, often involved in other women's World Cups. When interviewed in June, she spoke of her pride at being selected for this tournament. Let's just quickly take a listen.
I felt enormous emotion because it wasn't particularly expected that I would be picked. So I feel a lot of pride, a lot of honor to represent France at the World Cup. I think I'll have everything that's around me in my mind, and the aim will still be the same, that is the referee according to the performance on the pitch. So I'm really going to head into this with enormous emotion because clearly the important thing is the pitch.
And I want to come back to you if you are available just for a second. Stéphanie Frappart, she headed up an all-female refereeing team in Qatar. It's a country which has been accused of, at times, violating women's rights. Is there any significance in the fact that this is now the first all-female team to officiate a match in the Gulf nation?
Yes, it's very significant. I think the fact that women have been selected, and we can go back to what happened in a tournament here in Qatar a few months ago when female referees were the only ones not to shake hands with the Qatari officials, which made quite a lot of noise at the time. But it's about furthering what happens for female referees in the global game. Now, let's not forget that Stéphanie Frappart is also massively experienced. First woman to referee a game in Ligue 1, first woman to referee a match in the Men's Champions League. So she's been there before. She knows how to cope with the pressure. And if you look at the game itself, she got most of the decisions, if not all of the decisions, absolutely spot on, whether it be for tight offside calls and other factors like that. You do wonder, with everything that's going on in Qatar, how much of a political stunt this also becomes, whether it's just there because, you know, it had to be there. But of course, you would imagine and you would hope that Stéphanie Frappart was chosen just on merit, and it was an all-female team. We saw referees as well who refereed at the Africa Cup of Nations, the Rwandan referee, so it was an ensemble. And Stéphanie Frappart, ahead of the game, said that, she thought about not refereeing here in Qatar with everything going on, but how can you refuse a World Cup game and to referee on the biggest stage in what is the biggest football tournament in the world?
And you agree with that assessment? Good game from her?
Yeah, well, I would like to know from Simon if he thinks that last goal was offside or not, because I saw the same goal, almost the same goal ruled out yesterday for France against Tunisia, but I have been explained here tonight that it's not exactly the same situation, but I don't know what Simon will say.
Si?
I think if we're talking about the fourth goal,
yeah.
I believe for Germany, the Fulkrug goal, then I don't believe it is offside. Having said that, it was a difficult one. It took a lot of time, but the fact is that Fulkrug looks definitely in line with the ball. It's headed back across to him. The runner, the VAR check, in my opinion, was checking for the runner as well when the instance when the ball was initially played. Though I must say that in the stadium we didn't have the VAR on screens in front of us to have a look at that. But in real time, it looked like the correct decision, certainly.
I think the main issue is that we now having two goals which are quite similar in 2 days, and one is ruled out, the French one, and this one is given as a goal.
Right?
Honestly, I agree with Simon that it should have been 2 goals, the France goal as well. But now, it seems a little bit strange that 1 day after the French goal that they are now now giving this goal. That's the only thing I want to say.